Oh, yeah, what's up, dummies? It's Uncle Lou here. That's right, it is me, Uncle Lou, live on LouTube for you. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I want to know which ranked teams are losing this weekend. Now, some ranked teams are guaranteed to lose because we have ranked versus ranked. Like yesterday, I did a Texas versus Michigan prediction. You can click back and watch that if you hadn't already seen it. So, obviously, a ranked team is losing there. You've got 3 versus 10. Somebody has to lose. I happen to think Texas is going to win, but in either case, one of them is guaranteed to lose. I want to run through the schedule of games here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about each of these games as I go through them too. And then we're going to try to figure out how many ranked teams are going to lose. So we're at 1 for sure. Let's write that down. We're at 1. I've been on lost track. You know how I is. That's 1 for sure. Now let's go on down the list. Now, Penn State hosts Bowling Green. Penn State looked amazing last week. They're ranked number 8. They beat West Virginia on the road 34-12. I don't see any chance of them losing. So I'm not even writing that down as having a chance. However, number 16, Oklahoma State, I think they do have a chance to lose. They host Arkansas. Now, Arkansas, I don't think is going to have a very good year. They've got a tough SEC schedule ahead, but they're only about a touchdown underdog on the road in Stillwater here. And Oklahoma's defense was concerning to me in week 1. They played a nobody. They scored a ton of points. Ollie Gordon had 40 carries or whatever it is. They're ruining him, by the way, but I get it. It's all they have. Arkansas's quarterback looked really good. The transfer from Boise, I guess it is. If Oklahoma's defense can't figure out a way to stop this Arkansas offense, I actually think the higher scoring this game is, the better of a chance Arkansas has of winning it. I'm going to give this one a 50-50 shot. So we've got 1 50-50. So we got 1 for sure because Texas or Michigan. I'm giving this one a 50-50 shot. I haven't made my pick on this game yet. I'm going to go with Oklahoma State to get it done at home, but I think this could be a really good game. Arkansas, if you can get it over 7 points, I like Arkansas plus 7.5 or more to keep it close. But I'm going to go with Arkansas State, I guess, but I think it's 50-50 they lose. Kansas State on the road at Tulane. They could lose. Road game for a ranked Kansas State team against a Tulane team who has played multiple Power 5 teams over the last few years and even beat a few of them. I think Kansas State gets the job done, though. I would give this a little less than a 50% chance. Maybe just to keep it easy, we'll classify these 0% chance, 25% chance, 50% chance, 75, whatever, just to keep it easy. And you got the 1 guaranteed with Texas and Michigan because they're both ranked. Let's continue on through the list here. So I'm taking Kansas State in that one. Georgia Tech on the road at Syracuse. Georgia Tech, a lot of talk about Georgia Tech early in the season, of course, knocking off Florida State and Ireland. I don't know. Does it take something away from that win? The fact that Florida State then turned around and got dominated even worse by Boston College? Don't really know. Georgia Tech followed up that win against Florida State last week with a win against Georgia State. They started off a little slow, put them away in the second half. Tough game here on the road at Syracuse. Syracuse is another team that a lot of people have talked about over the course of the offseason. Brand new coaching staff, new quarterback, a lot of transfers came in. We'll see. I actually think Georgia Tech loses. I'm going to pick this one as a loss. I'm going to say 75% chance on this one. So 75% chance Georgia Tech loses, and I am going to actually pick Syracuse in this game. Shout out to all my Georgia Tech buddies. I am happy for them starting the season off 2-0, ranked in the top 25. I think Syracuse gets this one at home. So that's a 75% chance there. We've got a 25% chance, a 50% chance, and a guarantee with the Texas versus Michigan. Let's keep on rolling right through the list here. Tennessee Tech on the road at Georgia. It's a 0% chance here. Is it possible Georgia comes out flat? Yes. In fact, I think it's likely Georgia comes out a little flat. It's a weird start time, 2 o'clock. The game's not on TV. I don't expect the fans to be a factor in this game. It's just not a marquee game in any type of way. No one will be watching it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Georgia came out flat here. I think Georgia's about a 44-point favorite. I would take Tennessee Tech in the points. I don't think Georgia Tech covers the 40 or Georgia covers the 44. But Tennessee's got no chance. Tennessee Tech's got no chance of winning the game. So we're putting that in the 0% category there for Georgia. Just no shot they lose. What else do we have here? I'm glad you asked. Baylor on the road at Utah. I want to say 0% here, But I guess because Baylor's a Power 5 team, I'll give it a 20. I'll put it in the 25% category. But Utah looked really good last week. Cam Rising is back. He looked really good at the quarterback position. And Baylor's been disappointing for a couple of years now under Dave Aranda. He needs to get it turned around. He's going to find himself out of a job. I definitely think Utah wins the game. It's a home game for Utah. Is this their first Big 12 game? I guess it is. Welcome to the Big 12, Utah. You're hosting Baylor here. I think Utah wins the game. I'll give Baylor 25% chance to go ahead and win the game there. So that's 2 with 25% chance, according to Uncle Lou. Iowa State on the road at Iowa. Iowa, a favorite in this one, scored 40 points last week. Traditionally, this is one of the lowest scoring games of the year. Every single year, a lot of baseball scores in this game over the years. 7-3 safeties, so you get weird scores like 9-5 or something. I liked what I saw from Iowa offensively. I know it was against a nobody, but let's be real. Their offense has been the nobody for the last several years. Defense still looked good. Iowa State's got a decent team. This is a rivalry game. I guess there's always a chance of an upset in a rivalry game. I don't know if I can go I can't quite go 50-50 on this one because it's a home game for Iowa, but I will give Iowa State a 25% chance. That's 3 ranked teams with a 25% chance of losing if you're keeping track at home. And if you're not keeping track at home, don't worry. I'm keeping track right here with my copious notes in that. Also in 2. Jacksonville State on the road at Louisville. Don't see it happening. I know Jacksonville State has put up a fight a couple of times in the last few years against the Power 5 opponents. Not going to happen here on the road at Louisville. Louisville's the most disrespected team in all of college football. No one took them seriously last year, even when they were winning week after week after week. No one took them seriously. They made the ACC championship game all offseason. No one mentioned them at all. When it came to who was going to win the ACC this year, it was all about Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and then after that, NC State, maybe Virginia Tech, whatever. No one wanted to talk about Louisville. They go out and blow out a nobody in week 1. They are ranked 22. That's probably not high enough, honestly. I think they're going to absolutely destroy Jacksonville State. Louisville, 0% chance. I'm putting them in the Georgia category. 0% chance of losing at home against Jacksonville State. They're going to win by 50. Cal on the road at Auburn. Psych, neither team ranked. Sorry for your luck, Barner. South Carolina at Kentucky, not ranked. Sorry. Maybe I'll make another video later talking about some of these interesting games involving unranked teams, but that's not the point here. We're talking about teams within the top 25. Let's keep scrolling. We're into the afternoon games. Middle Tennessee on the road at Ole Miss. Middle Tennessee State almost lost to Tennessee Tech. The same Tennessee Tech that Georgia plays this week. Middle Tennessee State almost lost to them last week. 32-35, I think was the score. Ole Miss isn't going to have any kind of problems here, though. Ole Miss at home. It's a name your number type of game. Lane Kiffin's got that offense rolling. I'm going to put this in the 0% category. I don't see it happening. Sorry, Middle Tennessee, man, if you even exist. Florida A&M on the road at Miami. I wouldn't be surprised to see Miami start out flat. It's similar to what I mentioned with Georgia playing Tennessee Tech. Georgia and Miami both played big games in week 1. Both won easily. Both dominated their opponent. Both have nothing games this week at home that aren't even on TV. This one is also on ESPN+. This one also a weird time, 6 o'clock. No one will care. So maybe Miami starts off a little sluggish or whatever, but they'll pull away. This game won't be close. There's a 0% chance that Miami loses this game to Florida A&M. Continuing on down the list at a snail's pace. South Florida on the road at Alabama. 75% chance Bama loses. This was a close game. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This was the game last year where Bama looked like an absolute mess on the road in South Florida in the rain. Jalen Mildew did not play. The other 2 quarterbacks played. The offense was absolutely inept. Probably the worst offensive performance, overall performance, really, that I've seen from Alabama in 15 years was in this game. They rebounded the following week at home by beating Ole Miss in a critical game that sort of set Alabama on their path for the rest of the season, which, of course, led to an SEC championship. I don't expect this one to be close. I'll go to my grave not knowing exactly what happened at that South Florida situation last year with Jalen Mildew and what was the real reason he didn't play and what was with the performance and some different things. But I don't think South Florida stands a chance in this one on the road in Tuscaloosa. I like Alabama huge. I'm wavering between 0% chance and 25% chance, and I'm going to go with 0. I do not think South Florida has any chance at all of winning this game. Buffalo on the road at Missouri. I'm going to give this one 25%, and here's why. Missouri's way better than Buffalo. I think they're going to beat them by 40 or 50 points. But for as good as Missouri is, they are not Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, whatever. Some of these other teams that are loaded with talent on the back end. So something like by back end, I mean second and third string guys. So something weird happens here. Somebody gets a cold, a quarterback can't play, a couple people get hurt, something strange. In no way do I think Missouri's winning this game, but I can't go 25% on a team like Missouri. I just don't think they're dominant enough top to bottom. So I'm going to go 25% chance of Missouri getting upset at home by Buffalo. No, I don't think it's happening. Again, this game isn't on TV either. Another ESPN Plus extravaganza. Kansas on the road at Illinois. Now, this one I am going to give a 50% chance. Illinois has had a good defense a couple of years here recently on the road for Kansas. I think Kansas is the better team. I think they will win. We see weird things in college football all the time, though. Good coaching staff at Illinois, also at Kansas. Great quarterback at Kansas. This game comes on TV, too, FS1 at 7 o'clock. If you haven't seen Kansas play, watch some of this game. That quarterback they have, is it Jalen Daniels? Is that his name? He's fun to watch. He's really good. I really hope he can stay healthy this year. That's really been his only issue. Is staying healthy. I hope he can do that this year. If they do, I think Kansas will have a shot in the Big 12. So I like Kansas to win on the road at Illinois, but I'll give Illinois a 50% chance on that one of pulling the upset. A Big 10 team there in Illinois, but I am going to pick Kansas for my pick there. Let's see. Scrolling on through the list. Any more ranked teams here? Western Michigan on the road at Ohio State. 0% chance. Sorry. I know Ohio State started out a little slow out of the gate against Akron last week. I don't expect that to be the case here. This game's on the Big Ten Network at 7:30, a primetime game in Columbus. I think Ohio State comes out and just absolutely dominates Western Michigan from beginning to end. No chance. Now, here's one where a ranked team is guaranteed to lose. Number 14, Tennessee on the road at number 24, NC State. So, of course, that's another guaranteed loss. So we're at at least two ranked teams are going to lose because we've got two ranked versus ranked matchups. I like Tennessee in this game big. I was alarmed by what I saw from NC State against Western Carolina last week. They did not look good offensively. And you know what I'm having a hard time understanding? I keep hearing people talk about this game, and I even fell into this trap earlier in the week talking about this game, and they're like, well, if NC State's going to win, Nico's a young quarterback. It's not technically a road game, but it's a neutral site environment. It's his first real test against Power 5 competition outside of the bowl game, which a lot of people say doesn't count. So if NC State can kind of, get some pressure on Nico, get him rattled, that kind of thing, then blah, 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 blah. Well, what about Grayson McCall at NC State? Now, I know he's played a lot of football, but he ain't played no Power 5 football. Jack, he came from Coastal Carolina. This Tennessee defense is a huge step up from anything Grayson McCall has ever seen at the college level, period. So while I agree that the sort of game plan from NC State's perspective should be to try to confuse Nico, pressure him early, get him off of his spot, all those kinds of things, disguise coverages, that same kind of thing applies to what Tennessee should be trying to do to Grayson McCall. The problem is Tennessee's defense is way better than NC State's. I do like Dave Duren, and I like his defensive staff. Tennessee's got a great offensive staff. I do kind of like that coaching matchup. I just think Tennessee's too much here. I don't think this game's going to be particularly close. I think Tennessee probably wins by 3 touchdowns. So my pick on this game is Tennessee. The line is, I think, 7 or 8 points, 10 points, somewhere in there. I like Tennessee to cover the line. I think they're winning by 2 or 3 touchdowns. So that's another ranked team that's guaranteed to lose there. Nichols at LSU. I think LSU will rebound, obviously, and get their first win of the season. I'm putting the chances of LSU losing this game at 0%. LSU will handle business at home against Nichols, and that's another game that's not on TV, primetime in Death Valley, though. Houston on the road at Oklahoma. Houston's a Power 5 or Power 4 now team, but by name only. They are terrible. They were better 2 and 3 years ago when they were in the group of 5. I don't just mean their record was better because of the competition. I mean the makeup of their team. The players were better than what they are now. They are abysmally bad. And Oklahoma is not. They're not perfect. They've got some question marks, primarily the offensive line, a couple of questions still to answer on defense. But they're not losing this game to Houston. I'm tempted to put this in the 0% category, but because Houston's technically a Power 4 team, I'm going to rate it as a 25% chance for Houston, but Oklahoma will win this game by a lot. App State at Clemson. This might be a 75% chance of an upstate here by App State, but I'm going to give Clemson the benefit of the doubt and go with 50-50. App State, we're going to talk about this again in a minute when I talk about Boise State and Oregon. App State is not scared of a Power 4 team. The idea of walking into a stadium with a bunch of loud people in it and that environment and what goes along with it and Power 4 opponents, they're not intimidated by that. They live for that. They went into Texas A&M last year and won. Now, you can argue with your mom about who's better, last year's Texas A&M team or this year's Clemson's team. Honestly, I think we probably don't know yet. We haven't seen enough of this year's Clemson to fairly judge it against last year's Texas A&M team. But the point is, App State's not scared to go into these environments. They've been doing it for 15 or 20 years. Now, they don't win a lot of these games, but they win enough of them to where when they play them, they expect to win them. App State's not showing up to get a paycheck here from Clemson. App State is going into Clemson to beat them. Whether or not they do it remains to be seen. If Cade Klubnik gets to turning the ball over like he's prone to do, you're going to keep App State in this game. And the longer you let them hang around, the more of a chance it becomes that they could actually pull off this upset. I'm going to stick with the 50-50. I'm giving Clemson some benefit of the doubt here. They are more talented. I think App State will struggle against Clemson's defensive front, but they may be able to do work during the air. This is the same quarterback at App State who went into Texas A&M and won last year. He's back, and Clemson's secondary is a problem. I saw it firsthand last week. I don't think they'll have much success running the ball, but if they can somehow give that quarterback time to throw the ball, Clemson could be in trouble, putting that one in the 50-50 category. Next on the list happens to be Oregon. Almost all the exact same things I just said about App State and Clemson apply to Boise State and Oregon. The only difference being Oregon won last week and Clemson didn't. Now, just because Oregon won doesn't mean they look good. They beat Idaho 24-14 or something. I mean, it was a bad game for Oregon. And the concerning thing when you look at that is I don't know if the problems that we saw out of Oregon last week can be fixed. It's bad lines of scrimmage. They couldn't run the ball against Idaho. Boise State is better than Idaho just because they're in the same state. They're better than Idaho, okay? Oregon had to throw the ball 50 times. Dylan Gabriel had 50 pass attempts last week. That wasn't the game plan going into that game, I guarantee you. He ended up with 50 pass attempts because he had to have 50 pass attempts. They could not run the ball. They better be able to run it this week. They better be way more balanced. They better play better defense. They better be better along the lines of scrimmage because just like App State, Boise State's going into Oregon to win. They're not going in there to get a paycheck and get patted on the head and congratulated for how hard they tried. They're going in there to win. I'm going to go 50-50 on this guy. I just think Oregon's too talented in the end to lose this one to Boise State, but I would not want to be an Oregon or a Clemson fan this week. These are dangerous games for teams that did not look good in week one. But I'm marking it down as 50-50. Again, I'm giving benefit of the doubt here to both Oregon and Clemson. Northern Illinois on the road at Arizona. Huge in-state rivalry game here. No, not really. It is an in-state game, but not a rivalry. Arizona, boy, that quarterback and wide receiver tandem they have there is probably the best in the country. Now, there are better quarterbacks than Arizona's quarterback, and there are better wide receiver rooms than Arizona's wide receiver room. But just that particular combination of that quarterback and that wide receiver, I don't know if it's the chemistry or a relationship they've developed over time or what it is, but it looks like they share a brain. Over 300 yards receiving for that guy last week. They're fun to watch, real fun to watch. And this one, unfortunately, not on TV, only on ESPN Plus, late at night, 10 o'clock. 0% chance. Offensively, Arizona is the real deal. We'll see if they can hold up defensively once they get into Big 12 play, but they've got a legitimate offense. They're going to put up some points on some people. 0% chance Arizona loses to Northern Arizona. And I think that's it for the ranked teams. No, Southern Cal hosts Utah State. Similar to Georgia, similar to, who was the other one I named? Miami. I could see a scenario where Southern Cal starts slow here at home against Utah State. Remember, this is on a short week. They played Sunday night. They got to turn around and play Saturday, so they're getting one less off day. Shouldn't matter against Utah State, but it's just worth pointing out. And they're coming off a big win against LSU. So I could see a scenario where they come out a little flat, right? Maybe not lighting it up in the first quarter, but I think eventually they'll flip the switch and run away with this one. I like Southern Cal big. I'm going to give a 0% chance to Southern Cal. Well, you know what? A 25% chance. I still don't trust their defense. I got to see their defense for more than 1 week, so I'm going to give it a 25% chance. All right, so let's recap. Got my copious hash marks here. So two teams, two top 25 teams, guaranteed to lose. because we've got 2 games involving ranked versus ranked. So that's at least 2 top 25 teams we know for certain, 100% chance, 2 losses. I've got 1 with a 75% chance, 3 with a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a 50% chance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0 chance of losing. 1, 2, 3. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 1 with a 75%. Anyway, forget it. Go his nose. I ought to fire myself. Anyway, how many top 25 teams do you think are going to lose this week? Keeping in mind that 2 are guaranteed to lose. So the lowest possible answer you could have would be 2, because we have 2 ranked versus ranked games. 4? I'm going to go with 4. That's going to be my guess. I don't have to guess which ones. I'm just going to guess that out of all these ranked teams, 2 we know are losing. I'm going to say another 2 find a way to stumble and fall. I'm going to go with 4 ranked teams losing this Saturday, week 2 of the 2024 college football season. Let me know down below what you think, and have a good morning.